Who I believe to be the true birthers of choosing beggars, it's entitled parents. Our first one is from Particular Brush 8162. Names are fake for privacy reasons. My parents, now 73 female and 75 male, and I, now 35 female, have had a strained relationship for most of my life. For quick backstory, my parents had trouble conceiving until my sister, Alice, was born. They had wanted a boy and a girl, but got two girls, one with Asperger's. Alice was the miracle baby, and I was just there because I had to be. After I moved out, they made no effort to contact me. They were friendly enough, but it was always me reaching out, so I stopped making the effort and they didn't seem to care. I walked down the aisle alone and am happy for it. When I had my son, Matt, now 14 male, they didn't come see me, didn't come to the baby shower or the delivery. I decided not to bother. So when they had him on their own, my in-laws, now 64 male and 63 female, decided to pop around and introduce the baby to the new grandparents. It led to a huge fight because my parents saw no reason to care. After all, it's not like it was Alice's baby, just mine. I let them know when my daughter, Emily, now 12 female, was born, but that was the last time I tried to contact them. Alice also saw no reason to bother herself with them. Fast forward to 6 years ago, and I get a call from the school saying that there's a strange old woman at the head office trying to take my kids out of class for the day, claiming she was their maternal grandmother. I left work to go check it out, and there was my mother, snarling at my children for being so disrespectful to her, while Matt did his best to shield his little sister. I took her aside and asked her why she was there. Turns out, Alice had gotten married, and of course, no one thought to tell me, and had inherited my parents' fertility issues. In fact, she was most likely sterile and would never have children. Mom decided that she now wanted to be a grandmother and had come to take the children out for a day of bonding, only to show up and discover that they had no interest in leaving with some random old lady they had never met before. And the school was never going to let them leave with someone not on the approved people list, so she threw a fit. She got mad and decided not to bother anymore, calling my children ungrateful brats, and saying that she shouldn't have expected better considering who their mother was. I didn't bother saying anything, I just let her go, and then made sure my kids were okay. I ended up taking them out for ice cream, and we talked a little bit about what happened. But there didn't seem to be too much lasting damage. Years later, they laugh about the whole thing. I was worried about her coming around again, but that never happened. My mother-in-law ran into her at the shops afterwards and asked what had happened. Apparently, Mum assumed the kids would immediately latch onto her, despite never meeting her before. But because that didn't happen, Mum had no interest in having a relationship with them if it required effort on her part. So that was the end of it. I haven't seen her since, and I'm okay with that. I mean, what the hell is this entitled grandmother supposed to expect? Like, if she's not really a part of her daughter's life, and then she's not even a part of her grandkid's life, how are they supposed to recognize who she is and then immediately latch onto her? Entitled, with a capital E. And our final one is by DabKitty420. I went to the park with my son the other day, and I've been debating whether I should post this, but decided it was too entitled to not share. The park we went to is large and spread out, with many bike paths and bike stands, as well as several different playgrounds of varying levels and activities. My fiance dropped us off and left to get supplies for his business. My son is almost 2 and is obsessed with this little xylophone piece they have. We played there for a while, plenty of parents everywhere with their kiddos, including one entitled dad, who is watching his son ride around on the paths. My son is also absolutely obsessed with bikes. His dad does BMX and has had him on a bike since day one, literally just for the pics though. I'm always careful to keep him away from other people's bikes, however. At one point, I took my son to the swings at the other end of the park and pushed him for a while before returning to the music area. At some point during that time, Bike Boy had finished riding and was playing on the large structure near the music area. However, he had left his bike right by the music area. I didn't want to be a Karen, so I just ignored it as it wasn't in the way, and my son was absorbed in the xylophone. He did notice it eventually, and I had to redirect him back to the music toys. This worked, but I'd have had to redirect him about every 5-ish minutes. At one point, while digging for his juice, he managed to grab the pedal and spin it. He didn't knock it over, and I immediately grabbed him saying, "Nope, not your bike, not Daddy's bike either." Entitled Dad had been watching us this entire time. I glanced over a few times and seen him staring at us with his arms crossed while his son played off to his right. As I straightened myself with my son now on my hip, he rushed over and began screaming at me.
"You need to keep your fucking bean baby off my son's bike!"
What the fuck? I literally picked him up the second he touched it. He spun the pedal, didn't knock the bike over. And what the hell do you mean by calling my son a bean baby? Entitled Dad still yelling. People are now staring and recording.
I heard you calling him a Spanish name!"
Leans in and drops his voice trying to sound menacing.
"You need to get your bean baby, collect your shit, and take his dad back to Mexico. If he even stayed with you, fucking race traitor."
Get the fuck away from me. Kicks the bag to the other side of the play structure as I dart around it. At this point, his son has ran back over and grabbed his bike. Poor kid looked absolutely terrified.
"Dad, let's go. People are watching. Mom's gonna get pissed if you get in trouble again."
Starts pulling at his dad. Entitled Dad, as he's letting himself get pulled away by his son.
"Good luck keeping your failed abortion when ICE comes knocking. Trump will send it and his deadbeat back to Mexico where they belong."
The Spanish name I was calling my son was Papacito. After that, our park day was ruined, so I grabbed our stuff while calling my fiancé to pick us up. No one came over to help. No one came over after to make sure we were okay. However, I noticed plenty of phones out recording. I know I should have called the police, but I just wanted to get home and have a breakdown without my son seeing. I hate how Trump is making these people feel justified in their hatred. I hate how people just stood by and watched him filmed. I hate that I couldn't stand up for myself and my son better. I hate that my son has to grow up in this world that hates him for his heritage. I've completely lost faith in humanity, and it's tiring. What an absolutely entitled, hateful, racist piece of shit. I can't put it any other way. I don't see how anybody should have to put up with that when they go out of their home, especially in a public place. I like how he spews his hate and hides behind politics like that's a justifiable reason for him just being an absolute piece of shit. And I feel horrible for their son. They clearly know their dad's an asshole, and that's gotta be really shitty to live with. Alright, that's enough entitlement for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Entitled Parents. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.